outside of my computer. But welcome everybody to the Vanquisher League. I'm Raptor, joined today by Anti, and outside of my pain toe, we got some exciting League of Legends going on today. We got AFK versus OVS. It's week 8. It's almost time for the playoffs. I'm excited. I'm excited to see these matches.
Yeah, I mean, we're so close. We're finally all the way here. And AFK and OVS, two very, very strong teams. OVS coming in at, I believe, the 4th seed, sitting at a 5-2 record. Meanwhile, AFK, perfect record so far, 7-0. The leaders of the bunch, you know them well. Right, it's going to be pretty interesting seeing these two teams go toe-to-toe. I will note that we do have subs on both of the teams. Both of these teams are subbing in the support position. I haven't seen too much of POC808, but I will say Oversoul's sub coming in is Skarloey, who was the old support for Oversoul back when they played in Friend or Foe. So this is a team that has been through thick and thin together. So Skarloey coming back in might not have the same kind of synergy with Born to Ice that we might have seen before, but it's definitely not a team that's going to be lacking synergy overall.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have both casted them before and played against them in our time.
I mean, I wasn't playing that season.
Well, you weren't. I was. I've played against them, so I'm used to seeing these players. I'm excited to see them, even if it's not the whole team. Born to Ice here, but I'm excited too. I've watched him a couple times and been very excited. But even on the other side, AFK also. We've been watching them play this season, and they've been pretty exciting to watch too.
I mean, I haven't been able to catch a lot of the broadcasts, so I'm going to have to get a little bit of extra information from you as to just what is it that we're looking for in between these two teams.
So what we're looking for really is kind of around the standings. So if anybody has been keeping an eye on the standings, AFK is currently first in the league. They have dominated this league front to back, 14-3 in their game record. So they've only dropped 3 games in 7 series. That's really impressive. And OVS is currently sitting tied for second right now in a 5-2 split. Baby. So
this matters a lot.
This does matter a lot. If AFK loses today and next week, and OVS wins out, they could be fighting for first place. So every game matters. Both these teams at this point are locked into playoffs. There's no way for anybody below them to really catch them that they don't have a tiebreaker against already. So they're locked in at this point. But it's all about the standings. It's all about playing, kind of showing up, showing what you have already prepared for the playoffs. You got to start the fear early so that when you get in there, you've got that mental game going on against your opponents. That's like I don't think a lot of people really appreciate in League of Legends, but like I'm excited to see it. I don't know, a lot of it is it's going to come down to today in the bot lane. We have 2 subs, like you said, Skarloey coming back in, subbing in. POC808 going to be subbing in as well. So 2 subs. The bot lane, it could be anyone's game today. It's going to come down to how the AD carries function with their subs.
Yeah, and I will also say, especially in today's meta where we see a lot of, the roaming supports like the Leona come on through, I would be pretty interested to see in just what these support, subs really change up when it comes to the teams, right? Because as we've seen before, a good support with a good roam means a lot to the entirety of the game. So now that we got the draft underway, we're going to be seeing a few of the meta bans being taken off the table, like these magic damage junglers that we've seen so much of, these AD carries like the Caitlyn. I mean, one thing that I will say is that some of the AD carries currently on the table are just ones you do not want to be dealing with at all. Like, Misfortune's incredibly strong. Caitlyn, honestly, probably more of a specific pick for the AD carry, but still a strong pick nonetheless. Ashe, something that I don't think anyone wants to be dealing with right now. But these utility-heavy AD carries that still output ridiculous amounts of damage are nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, and also, something to think about. I don't know if we'll see her today, but I know she has been pretty strong. This is the first week Aurora will be enabled, and she will be enabled through the playoffs as well. So see some Aurora today. There's a Teemo, and
which we are being told is actually the Aurora. So first pick blue side, already locking the Aurora, slamming down the gauntlet. And I gotta say, Aurora picked early, pretty interesting here. You know, can be flexed to top, can be flexed to mid lane. We've been seeing a lot of different builds when it comes to Aurora. There's the more tanky Rylai's Crystal Scepter or Rod of Ages build. There's also the, you know, I'm just gonna take Electrocute and rush a Lichbane and just one-shot people build. Like, there's just a lot to think about. Meanwhile, on the other side, Oversoul have gone with a much more standard composition of, you have structures, we kill structures.
Yeah, and AFK responding back immediately with the Twitch and the Nami.
Twitch Nami, okay.
So, not something I've seen a lot of as of late. I would say Twitch Nami, both of them. Nami a bit more has been in meta, but Twitch has been kind of out of it for a little bit, I would say. And part of that is just the strength of the carries he's against, but also because of the strength of tanks like Braum. Engage champions very well into Twitch, and especially Braum being able to block all those shots from the Twitch. Even with the ult passing through, you're still blocking the major damage. It would be very effective. So, I'll be interested to see how this bot lane plays out. The Nami, I think, is a good pick. Is a pretty good counter into Braum, I feel, because you have the ability to kind of slow him down, be able to kind of stop his, if he tries to jump in, you just ult to slow down his ability to get that jump ult combo in.
Now,
so
I will say, right, I do actually really like this Braum pickup here in the response to the Nami, because, you know, with the Unbreakable, you can stop the tidal wave, you can stop the bubble, and a lot of that Twitch damage, right? I mean, it's exactly like what you said, Raptor, right? It's the champions like Braum that make Twitch a little bit harder to make work, but you know, with a team like this, you got two champions that have the ability to be stealthed up, right? You got to be really, really careful about those flank angles. And now with Limser picking up the Mordekaiser that takes the, you know, Skarner off the table, Lowy off the table, but the Mordekaiser blind, not something that we're used to seeing as often. Meanwhile, the Mordekaiser versus Aatrox is something that we've seen time and time again over the years.
yeah, that's a matchup we've seen a lot of. I think it's interesting that they're running the Trundle right away. They're assuming it's a tank in the jungle. But I guess you can pull the Braum stats. You do get all those stats when you stand next to your opponent. So that's always going to be something.
Makes sense. Like, you know,
yeah.
Mordekaiser steals someone's stats, you steal them right back, right?
Yeah, exactly. But the Rek'Sai pick. So this isn't something we've seen a lot of either. I think especially since the changes to Rek'Sai, we haven't seen a large amount of Rek'Sai. But I think Rek'Sai is actually in a pretty okay spot. I think it's good into Trundle. It has the ability to kind of duel him, and then if things go bad, just bail out. Like, there's no harm in fighting because you can just tunnel out. He can't really knock you out of the tunnel. So I think that's good. It also provides them a lot of engage and potential to come from different angles, which we were talking about, you know, the AD carries and the supports, considering their subs, trying to find that synergy. This might be a way to kind of alleviate that pressure or take advantage if there's synergistic issues in the bot lane using the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I also gotta know, right? So, Twitch Nami is very much a 2v2 lane, right? So, as I noted earlier, a lot of the supports that are very popular right now, like Leona, for example, like the Rel, right? It's these supports that we're seeing at these top levels of play are so willing to just let their AD carry exist and just say, I'm going somewhere else. I'm gonna do my own thing. Our top lane looking mighty spicy. Let's go ahead and make something happen over there. Twitch Nami does not let Jinx survive if she's alone. This Braum is locked to the bot lane unless, you know, unless we're gonna see Skarloey do some crazy roams. But I would be very surprised to see anything other than a 2v2 over here. Meanwhile, when it comes to that mid lane, right, we're going to be seeing a lot of the, you know, Aurora versus Ziggs, so not really going to be too much interaction, especially with that fleet footwork Aurora. I'm not going to be too surprised if we just see a very tanky, survivable Aurora who just throws out the ultimates to really start to set up the team, right? When you're playing a super immobile AD carry like Jinx, Aurora's ultimate is not something you really want to be dealing with.
Yeah, and I expect to see something like Rod of Ages, Leandries, Rylai's. I fully expect to see the tankier Aurora, and that's really all AFK needs. They just need to buy the space for their Twitch. Like if this game, they're just waiting for the Twitch to scale up, and then they just win the fights. Twitch is such a monster in the late game, especially with the Trundle to help rip the stats out of the front line for against OVS. That allows them the ability to just rip them through that much faster. They've really set up a strong comp around this AD carry. So I think a lot of the pressure is going to be down there. And I'm going to be interested to see how this pans out. If this really works, but is Freedom Potatoes going to get a nice bit of poke there, actually. And, Kusho found Matt Stat. And might have actually a level 1 fight starting to break out a bit. Limster taking quite a bit of damage there, but Silly Boy Joe also taking a bit of poke. Everyone's just going to back out because Skarloey is in the house right now.
Yeah, Freedom Potatoes in the meantime, I'm so happy to just walk up, get a little bit of extra damage down, sacrifices the ward for it, get another little pause here and there. But, I mean, either way, we got to talk about these team compositions, right? So, Oversoul have drafted an incredible team composition, specifically with the idea of we are going to take towers. We are going to push down waves. We are going to take towers, right? That's the entire point of this team. As long as you got Meat Shield standing in front of the Jinx and Ziggs, you can always output damage. You can always deal damage to structures. You can always make sure that a win is possible regardless of how far behind you are. Meanwhile, AFK's team composition says, we're going to win the lane and then slap you with our wallets, right? I mean, Aurora as a champion doesn't necessarily hardcore stomp lanes in the way that you might see a few of the AD mid laners now that we're used to seeing nowadays, but the Aatrox, the Twitch, Nami, those champions are really designed to snowball their lanes and make use of their leads, while Aurora is their fallback plan, right? We're not necessarily expecting to see too much in terms of one-shots from the Aurora, but if it does happen, it happens, right?
Yeah, I agree 100%, and we are seeing the AD carries having a little bit of trouble today. Clearly, this is a Windows problem. Last week's issue is still rolling over into this week for anyone that was watching that. But, you know, we can talk a little bit more. Let's talk a bit more about Aurora. You know, this is the first time we're seeing this champion. At least we are in competitors. Let's talk a bit more about. Let's talk about the bunny.
Well, okay. So I haven't seen too much of Aurora. There's been a few videos published here and there, like if you watch Lol Dobby's videos and you're going to be seeing like, oh yeah, well, you know, the Koreans have been doing fleet footwork into like Lichbane Rush or like, you know, Rod of Ages, etc., right? The thing to note about Aurora that I think tends to go understated is this champion doesn't die, right? Like that's the number one thing that she's great at doing. She just kind of avoids dying as much as possible. So no matter what it is that she tries to do, she's able to clear the wave, she's able to put herself in a good position, but she just doesn't find it's really difficult for your opponent to find a way to kill her if they're auto attack focused. So it'd be pretty difficult for the Jinx to land a kill, it'd be pretty difficult for the Rek'Sai, but for an ability focused champion like the Ziggs, it's not really going to be as surprising to see the constant poke really come through.
Yeah, and I think that this is going to be a struggle for Aurora a bit in this lane. While she basically does act like, in my experience, an AP Xayah, she does struggle early on, especially with wave clear, and Ziggs. Ziggs is the master of wave clears. We already see him doing some good trading right there. Freedom Potatoes knows how to pilot the Ziggs. And it is looking a strong start for OVS so far. It's kind of what they need. Is Alcove going to take a lot of hits right there, forced to flash to avoid the stun. And OVS, you know, it's a good start already, getting out one summoner spell. This could be a sign for Matstat to make a appearance spot lane.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I will say, right, those early trades are something that is very, very good to see for Oversoul here, right? The Jinx just being able to get that slightly early lead is very, very important because, as I said, the Twitch Nami is so focused on that 2v2. Right, like if you can get that Twitch Nami ahead, it turns into such a huge problem, and Oversoul going to be able to shut that down really early here. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Limster just going to continue to farm up as we're seeing some very strong trading back and forth in mid lanes. Just there isn't too much to say, right? This is a very stable wave, very stable game in total, but either way, we're gonna have to see how things actually do develop once the junglers come into play. Now, Rek'Sai, really good champion at throwing a wrench into that early game, as Trundle, on the other hand, very good at the counter ganking. So now that they're both on the same side of the map, I would not be surprised to see some crazy thing going on. Matsat on the edge.
Yeah, here we go. Matsat going right on in, and they're just going to rip Alcove up. First blood over to the OVS jungler. Like we were saying, no flash, easy gank on a Twitch.
Easy gank on that Twitch, right? And mobile 80 carries going to be suffering here. Wow, Matsat really going to be able to just pull that, that vision out of nowhere, right? But I gotta say, the Rek'Sai getting that first blood, great stuff for Oversoul here. It's going to be interesting to see how AFK responds, because Trundle is the counter gank king, but if you can't get into the right place at the right time, you're really not going to be seeing too much from this champion until the team fights start, or if you just decide to throw him into a side lane and be like, yeah, just split push for absolutely forever.
Yeah, and we can already see 50 cal Taco walking up into the topside jungles. Limster taking a lot of damage here against Silly Boy. Trying to trade back, though, and it's going to burn the heal. So no kill there. But both these junglers kind of tracing towards the top side. They have been spotted. Matsat already on the fight here. None of them have had items. That hasn't got to back yet. So has to be careful here. But I think that's just going to be a call. Oh, nope, not going to get to back up. They do see Silly Boy Joe walking up. Limster's got to be careful. A dive could come through, but I think he should be pretty safe. Matsat is hovering in the area. And these, it's going to stay around. Okay, so top laner first to back, jungle first to back is going to be 50 cal Tacos, because he's going to have a little bit of the lead here. And I'm going to be interested in how Matsat plays this out. So a lot of Rek'Sais, I noticed, tend to build very heavy assassin Rek'Sai. That's pretty standard right now, is assassin Rek'Sai.
I think right now we're looking at the Bruiser, though.
Yeah, I think this is going to be Bruiser Rek'Sai. So that's what makes me curious, because it's been a while since I've seen Bruiser Rek'Sai. The full lethality, just assassinate him build is pretty good. So, but I think Bruiser is better for this team, given just how squishy their mid and 80 carry are. So I'll be interested to see how this plays out.
Lately, as we've seen the Rek'Sai coming out in competitive play, it has been that Bruiser Rek'Sai, that Stride Breaker rush on the Void Queen. But right now, I gotta give a little bit of attention towards that top side, right? We're seeing the defensive items come in for Limster, meanwhile the offensive items for Silly Boy Joe. And that's a testament to how these players are planning on playing out the lane, right? So Limster, a very strong weak side top laner, right? Always in the right position to just soak up pressure, but not give over the excess gold. Meanwhile, Matsat and co are just looking to take this dragon as 50 cal Taco trades over the grubs, right? The classic trade back and forth between these two teams. Meanwhile, the bot lane of Alco Refugee and Pak 808 are just going to continue to run down this mid lane, try to get that wave all the way into tower, but not quite early enough to really make Born to Ice and Skarloey miss anything. But as we said before, right, this is a 2v2 focused lane. What it excels at is the fact that it's just forcing the Braum to stay bot, right? You can't leave this Jinx alone. You can't really get the support all over the map that we've seen from a lot of these tankier engaged supports. But, the value of being able to keep that gold lead down there is honestly immense.
Yeah, and speaking of immense, an immense gank opportunity in the mid. Looks like it's going to fizzle out a little bit as the Aurora does get away, but Twitch is, I mean, Trundle is hanging there. Oh, I don't know what he's doing. He's just kind of standing there, gets knocked up, but is going to miss. The rocket flies, but it is going to miss out on Kusho. So no kill right there onto the Aurora. But top lane, Limster winning out against Silly Boy Joe. Oh, but can he finish this up? It's going to be difficult. Oh, the flash manages to dodge it. Will he get to the time? He will not. Silly Boy Joe is going to take down Limster.
Oh man, and just that one auto difference, and 50 Cal Taco also takes out Matstat. Top half of AFK's map looking great so far, and you know, it's honestly, as we said, right, Trundle, the counter gank king, always ready to just skirmish in the jungle right there, and Silly Boy Joe just barely gonna be able to survive there. Works out so well for AFK. They're going to be able to pick up a very slight gold lead here. Meanwhile, Born to Ice and Skarloey just going to continue to push forward with the Jinx Braum. Beautiful bubble coming in, but likely not going to amount to too much. Meanwhile, as we can see here, a decent gold lead in the jungle. You know, it's just a few hundred gold, but a much larger gold lead in that top lane. 500 gold separating these two players. That's going to be mitigated a little bit with the wave that Limster's going to be picking up here, but that is not insignificant in the slightest, right? This is top lane in competitive play. It's the lane where you die once, you die the rest of the laning phase, and I would not be too surprised to see Silly Boy Joe start to run away with this, right? AFK is the #1 seed coming into this for a reason.
Yeah, they're not 7-0 for nothing. They are an incredibly, if not the uncontested most powerful team in the league. So there's a lot that OVS is going to have to try to deal with, you know, to win this out there. They aren't playing slouches here, but I think that makes it all the more impressive if they do manage to, you know, get back into this and win it, because it means, hey, you've taken down the #1 team. But that's going to be a little hard when they've got a potential gank coming here. Now 50 Cal Taco's going to maybe hang out. Matstat is around here as well. So everyone's kind of hovering. Freedom Potatoes rotating down as well. They are looking for the taco, but meanwhile, Alcove Refugee looking to get over there. He just flashes forward over the wall. Okay, very aggressive Twitch. That might not have been the situation you wanted, and Born to Ice is gonna pick up that. I was so stunned by the flash, I didn't know what to say.
Alcove Refugee check PayPal? Question mark? I'm genuinely baffled by that flash forward, but either way, gonna work out just fine for Born to Ice and Skarloey, only dropping the exhaust there. Meanwhile, Alcove Refugee still holding on to the barrier. Has once again, mid lane gonna be the trade after trade, and this is exactly what I was talking about, right? This is exactly what I was mentioning earlier, Raptor. Aurora just doesn't die, right? This champion's just so good at surviving, so good at clearing out waves very safely. And once she gets close to the point where it's like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore, she can just not be there, right? She can just leave.
Yeah. I also think, though, that it was good forcing the Aurora to kind of walk a little bit longer way around. So there is at least Freedom Potato getting a little bit out of that. He is winning the early trading, but the extended trades, you know, that's the hard part. Ziggs really wants to just poke you down until he can just nuke you, and that's hard when the bunny just goes invisible and you're like, where did it go? Where's the bunny? Okay, and the grubs are going to be taken, going to be split, not even, it's going to go 4 for 2, so there will be the little void grublings spawning for the side of AFK. And
yeah, but denial on the 6 is pretty dang nice, and denial on 5 in particular is particularly great. And once again, you know, this 2v2 bot lane is the focus, but Alcove Refugee, no backup over there, just trying to get into the right position here. And Limster, once again, playing that weak side top lane. You got quite a bit of company over here, though. So now with the Dragon take, we might see a little bit of extra focus here from AFK, because they know that they can make something happen on the other side of the map. But here we go.
Alcove getting rooted up, getting knocked up, getting blasted into oblivion. The fish block, though, is strong with the rocket. And Alcove Refugee will play, but this is not going to be a Sigma moment for him. Matstat is coming down. Alcove gets annihilated by Freedom Potatoes with the downtown nuke. And everyone from OVS backs off a 1-for-0 trade. And they burn the teleport on Kusho.
Yeah, I mean, Kusho comes in a little too late. Unfortunate for the side of AFK. Puck 808, she was doing a great job of keeping her 80 carry alive. The block on the Super Mega Death Rocket was phenomenally placed, but in the end, too much damage on the Rat going to fully take that one out here. And while the Braum is locked to this bot lane, it's been paying out dividends for Oversoul.
Yeah, usually when you want to lock someone to the bot lane, it's because you just want to go even with it. But if you just keep feeding kills over to the enemy AD carry, it's not really it's not really worth keeping the support there. But big credit, to the OVS bot lane. They have been playing incredibly aggressive. I know Skarloey as a pretty well positioning support from my time playing against him, is someone who has very good positioning, knows when to make the aggressive plays, and this has been doing immaculate this game so far. And yeah, it is looking great for OVS right now. They are up 1,000 gold. They have 2 dragons to them. Soul, though, I didn't brought this up. This is probably the worst soul for them, given that it's just giving them more tank stats per dragon, which means that Trundle just gets more to ult.
Yeah, I mean, tank stats might not necessarily be the greatest in terms of the 1v1 against Trundle, but at the very least, an entire team being tankier is nothing that you would ever say no to.
That's
so
fair
right
too.
now, So right now, Oversoul, in a good position with the dragon stacking Kusho, might be a little bit far forward here, but it's really only Matstat and Skarloey, and 50 cal Taco is no way over the wall.
No way at all. Is going to try to get over to the flash.
Oh no!
The 50 cal tacos are light as a meal for OVS, so they're going to pick that one up. Born to Ice and Skarloey. Like, we talked about the bot lane being so important in this game, especially the synergy between the AD carry and the sub support. And it's looking great. They have 100% kill participation at this point.
Yeah, I mean, 100% KP has got to be feeling good, especially when you got most of that gold onto your Jinx, right? It's all about this hyper carry, but you got to remember, right? It's not just a hyper carry, it is an immobile hyper carry against Aurora. And Aurora with that, with that between worlds. Oh,
you might have to wait on that. Limster getting ganked from all angles and is gonna fall. Kusho is gonna pick up that one. So AFK finally responds back. Limster unfortunately getting caught out, but but they at least they at least no one else died there. That's the important thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally all about that between worlds, that ultimate that I was just talking about, right? Kusho gonna be able to walk up, make sure that there's no shot for Limster to get on out of there without burning flash, but if you're flashing out of that between worlds in that position, you're also flashing directly into the Baron pit, so it's pretty much checkmate for Limster there. So right now, the Mordekaiser will not necessarily be in the greatest of positions. It might be one of those games where you just decide to buy a Zhonya's and say like, hey, if we're gonna be fighting a 4v4 every match, at least I'm going to take the most fed member off of the enemy team and like just trap them in Death Realm for a bit, right? But right now, Limster being behind, definitely not something that Oversoul wants in the slightest, but at the very least, man is still doing fine while Born to Ice is on a killing spree.
Yeah, now it might get even more here. 50 cal Taco's going too far in, and Matstat is going to knock him up, try to stop him from getting to the blast cone. He will make it over the wall, but Born Twice is going forward. Matstat ults as well. They're chasing him down, but the fish is buying all the space, and they're only going to get one for all of that. But I think it's still worth it. Elko Refugee, Sigma. Yeah, it's just not a fun game for you, my dude.
Yeah, I mean, it has not been the greatest game for this Twitch, but I mean, we've got the bounty already on Born to Ice, and now, crucially, the Jinx does not have flash, right? So as we mentioned earlier, right, Aurora's ultimate, very, very strong tool at making sure these immobile champions don't have a way out. So right now, with Born to Ice coming in a little bit late here, we might be seeing the dragon taken by AFK. The two rolls popped.
Yeah, looking for Freedom Potatoes, and Freedom is going to go right over the wall. Born twice here on the side. Silly Boy Joe going forward, but is all alone across the wall. Meanwhile, Limster coming in on the back is here in the middle of 5, is going to ult onto the the pretty easily killable AD carry. Alcove Refugee will fall, and OVS, they got engaged on, but they're the ones who walk away with the kill. They're the ones who are going to walk away with the dragon and put themselves on soul point.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know what Alcove Refugee did to Oversoul, but this one feels personal. 5 out of the 6 kills for Oversoul are on this Twitch, and that's gotta feel pretty bad for the side of AFK here. I mean, at this point, it feels like the strat is tilt the AD carry, but right now, you know, Limster going to pick up a little bit of extra gold for himself, going to be able to get slightly back into the swing of things, but Oversoul slowly stacking up those dragons, gotta be feeling really good. Silly Boy Joe gonna cancel that recall though, and Limster could be in trouble.
Yeah, it could absolutely be. The Trundle's on the way up as well. Limster all alone. Run, Limster. You must run, but there's nowhere to go. Trying to duel a Trundle and an Aatrox. It's not going to happen. Oh, but it flashes out. So a little potential to be able to run, but Kusho's on the hunt.
Kusho.
It's the ult, and it's going to just kill him with it. So a kill over to AFK, but they're going to lose the mid turret for it. The only 2 Grublings, not really, 2 Void Stacks, not a lot, but with the Ziggs, that's really easy to shred up the turret. They're going to pick that up, and now Born twice, looking for maybe Alco Refugee again. But no, they're just going to let him go.
Yeah, this tower getting lower and lower, should be the entire tower fully finished up. I gotta say, right, as we said before, there is one thing that this team composition does, and it does it well, and that is take down structures, right? Jinx and Ziggs, phenomenal champions at just absolutely obliterating towers. The only thing you could really ask for other than that would probably be Tristana Ziggs, but these two absolutely do a great job at it.
I'd be fine with the Kog'Maw Ziggs.
For tower taking, I mean, I don't really know. Like Kog'Maw Ziggs does fine, but I don't think that it's particularly stronger than Jinx. Definitely not stronger than Trist.
No, not stronger than Trist. I think he's about on par with Jinx. He just he takes longer to get online, but when he gets online, he's stronger than Jinx.
Fair enough.
As silly, yeah. But back on what's actually in the game. Silly Boy Joe and Limster are kind of just going at it in the bot lane, trying to just mirror match each other, and everyone's kind of shifted attention towards the top with the Baron up. No one wants to actually let someone, especially with a Trundle. You don't want to let Trundle just have time on a Baron. He can take it pretty quickly, but Freedom Potatoes being engaged upon by Kusho, but Matstat is here to help it. They're going to shut him down, but can Matstat pick up a kill? Maybe not, but with Born twice and Skarloey on the way, they might have a chance. Kusho on the run, might be able to get out. 50 cal Taco getting stunned into Oblivion. The ult's going to come through, but Born twice is not going to be able to get anything with that except a stun. They're trying to buy space for them. Maybe pick up a kill, but everyone is up here, and Alcove Refugee picks up 1, picks up 2, and picks up not a third. Kusho gonna pick that one up to go on a rampage, but OVS bites off a little bit more than they can chew, and AFK is gonna take 4 and the Baron for their troubles.
Yeah, and a beautiful turn coming in from AFK just at the right time. Gonna be able to take the entire Baron off of that one, it seems, and that was looking to be a classic, Oversoul was just going to be able to turn that one right around. You had the entire team there right at the perfect time. Meanwhile, Limster and Silly Boy Joe just trying to duke it out in the bot lane. Limster currently coming out on top, but it doesn't matter who wins the 1v1 when AFK is winning the 4v1 versus the Baron.
Yeah, AFK getting the Baron, get a huge gold swing. They're now 4K up in the lead. And with Baron only a minute away from Dragon, they might be able to finally start getting these stacking up and stop the soul here. OVS, got to be more careful with their positioning. Once they're under the turret, I think it's just time to back out. It's time to just give it up. The Nami, you got the Nami ult, you got the abilities out of Taco and Kusho. just let it go. You've lost a kill. There's no reason to over chase these players, but that's a lesson they're gonna have to learn, and hopefully it wasn't a lesson they learned too late, as OVS is getting the vision control around the Dragon Pit. AFK though trying to get their own back now, running around, not gonna spot out some of these wards, but 50 Cal Taco is surrounded right now. He's gonna be able to get out. Alcove Refugee kind of hanging out here invisibly, but 50 Cal Taco getting knocked back. They're looking for him. The flash away to try to escape. The ult though is gonna get some space and some damage. They're knocking him up. They're throwing it all out. Everyone trying to save him, but Matstat's gonna pick him up there. Meanwhile, the Alcove Refugee is firing on all sides. Down goes Limster. Down goes Mattstat. Silly Boy Joe in the backline trying to take out Born twice. Flashes forward for him, but isn't gonna be able to pick that up. He's trying to duke him back. Kusho though managing to find the kill with the flash forward. A 3-for-1 in favor of AFK. They should be able to secure this dragon unless Freedom Potatoes can poke them out. Kusho going forward though for Skarloey trying to buy the space. And they're gonna walk out just fine. Dragon going over freely to AFK.
Yeah, and once again, another fight where Born Twice just isn't quite able to auto-attack as much as he wants here. Meanwhile, the dragon stacking is denied. AFK finding their way back into this game. So much damage, so much cooldowns burned to try to take out 50 Cal Taco, and honestly, that works, right? I mean, so much of that is like, hey, well, as long as we take out the jungler, we should have a free go at the dragon immediately after. But Alcove Refugee auto-attacking the entire time. Kusho just able to get right into the right place at the right time with that Between Worlds. So much usage out of that ultimate. Just so much displacement, so much respect demanded from this mid laner. And the entire time, Silly Boy Joe in that backline, making sure that Born Twice doesn't get a chance to really play the game.
Yeah, just well positioning, good flank from Silly Boy Joe. And really just, I think too much focus on the junglers. The tanky jungler, they're just over chasing. Over Soul is more like over stretching themselves in these fights. Silly Boy Joe is gonna get found and knocked up, but they do know the rest of the team is here. 50 Cal Taco now on the hunt. Mattstat trying to get away, and Silly Boy Joe is gonna burn the ultimate, but it has a pretty low cooldown, so nothing too major. Turret's starting to fall against OVS right now. Two of the mid, bot gone. So what can OVS do to claw themselves back into this game? Skarloey gonna be forced to flash to get out. Now Alcove Refugee on the hunt looking for Born Twice. The ult's gonna come out from Skarloey though to stop it. Oh, and the exhaust, is that gonna be enough? No, it's not. The turret shot will not land, and now they're destroying everything in the kitchen sink to try to pick him off, but the fish will heal him and will continue to stand. AFK, without all those ults from OVS, are now pushing forward. They're trying to take this inner turret. It will fall. OVS is just on the back foot without all those ultimates. They're in a pretty rough position. They need those to really kind of set themselves up. And AFK just continuing to push this lead. Now 6,000 gold up.
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea what it is that OVS can do to get back into the swing of things, because at this point in the game, right, usually I would just say, all right, well, just group up as 5, make a death ball, and just jump directly onto someone and make sure that they don't get a chance to play the game. Meanwhile, you know, you look at the gold, right, that AFK is just slapping around, right, and it's so much gold discrepancy to deal with. Meanwhile, Limster going in on Kusho here, misses out on the Q, and ulti doesn't quite seem to be working out.
It is not.
Right now just needs that last one.
Kusho! Limster.
All right.
Yeah, Limster picks it up in the 1v1. Ladies and gentlemen, Mordekaiser is online.
Yeah, I mean, Mordekaiser, regardless of that gold discrepancy, gonna be doing just fine here. Also looking to be picking up that Riftmaker soon enough. Going to be a bigger threat in these team fights the later the game goes on. Meanwhile, Born Twice, honestly, struggling a little bit in the gold department, just sitting on that I believe this is going to be that Lord Dom's Regards. The components for it, at least until we get to that point. It's going to be pretty difficult to see the Jinx really pop through these teams, right? Once Jinx has access to the Infinity Edge is when we're going to start to see them really start shredding through these teams. But until you get to that point, Jinx kind of tends to struggle a little bit. That's one of the reasons why it was so good for the Jinx to get accelerated early, because Jinx just needs all of that gold. But until you get to that point, it's going to be a little bit difficult. And right now they lack the kind of burst damage, they lack the DPS to really be able to soften up these teams. Meantime, Freedom Potatoes getting a decent bit of poke off onto 50 Cal Taco, but without any healing reduction, it's going to be pretty difficult to actually convert into a full-on kill.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It doesn't, just there's not enough damage to deal with it, especially with the MR sitting on 50 Cal Taco. You can just kind of shrug it off and walk away. But they are kind of jockeying for position around Baron. We might see a fight break out here in the next minute or so. Everyone's really hanging out around here. AFK goes over the wall, and they're gonna start it up. They're thinking they're gonna be cheeky here, but OVS sniffs something out. They know that this team can play some very tricky plays if given the opportunity. 50 Cal Taco looking for Skarloey. He's gonna try to get him with the cup and the pillar, but the flash forward from Kusho looking for it. Born twice, flashes out of it and is gonna try to run away. Maybe my Silly Boy Joe looking for the flank, but may have bitten off more than can chew. The Nami tidal wave is on the way. Limster has managed to isolate Silly Boy Joe, but can he get out? Trying to run away, but is going to fall. Freedom Potatoes on the side, trying to fire. Matstat trying to buy space for the backline. Born twice trying to run, but Kusho is going to pick up Matstat. Born twice is trying to run and is still not going to get to fire much. Freedom Potatoes on the run too, is solo. Skarloey trying to buy his carry some space, but 50 Cal Taco is going to run him down. Down goes Skarloey, and it's Alcove Refugee actually going to pick up the Ziggs, going on a rampage. Finally, it's Born twice against the world right now. Can this 3-item Jinx hold on to the game? Or will AFK actually just stop here?
Yeah, going to be able to do it, just not going to play for the 90% play, instead going to play for the 100% play. Going to just back off, go towards that dragon. Extra mountain dragons are going to do this team very, very well. I mean, extra tankiness always going to be good regardless of which team you are. But that last fight was an absolute disaster for Oversoul. So much of that fight, Born Twice just was not able to play that fight at all, was not able to get these autos off. Meanwhile, Silly Boy Joe gonna just teleport straight on in, not quite gonna get stunned up. Matstat and Skarloey.
Yeah, Skarloey gonna have to run here. Born Twice and Freedom Potatoes trying to fire back. Everyone getting low. The Refugee, though, on the side gets the massive ultimate. Now Matstat looking for him, gonna try to ult, he's not gonna be able to. The Twitch is going to pick up 2. He's not going to pick up the 3rd. It's going to go to Kusho. Limster has ulted onto 50 Cal Taco, but I don't know if that's the target you really wanted there, buddy. Going to try to pick him off before he comes out, but he is not going to get to. And now Alcove Refugee and the team are going to push forward. They're going to look to end this game. Freedom Potatoes goes golden, but he's going to fall. Silly Boy Joe going to pick up that kill. And AFK from a pretty damning position, and especially for their AD carry, managed to make the comeback. So far, it's not over. They're once again backing off, but it's a 10K goal lead. I think it's almost guaranteed over at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's a difficult position to find yourself a way back in, but Freedom Potatoes at the very least able to, with a final Q, gift his team a few more minutes of respite, right? A few more moments to really try to get back into the swing of things. But right now, the Baron is up, and the question is, does Oversoul risk it all, right? Do you just go for the crazy, ultra insane Baron play now that you know 50 Cal Taco's in this bot lane? I don't think they quite have the DPS for that, but right now, the amount of options that they have available to them are just running lower and lower. So Matstat, Born Twice, and Skarloey, the squad of 3, trying to make something happen, but right now, Oversoul, you have to either, 1, just throw yourselves right in, try to get a pick onto one person, or 2, just be like, you know what, this game's pretty over, Let's try to break our opponent's momentum. Let's try to play towards the entire set as a whole, right? Because it's not a best of 1. It's a best of 3, so sometimes it's all about the mental, right? Preserving your mental is more important than, you know, playing to the possibility of maybe getting one of these games on in here. But right now, Matsat not looking to... Oh my god. Matsat not looking to give up just yet. They're still trying to look for those miracle plays.
Yeah, and Matsat's now going to have to run. Silly Boy Joe is trying to run him down, but can't really outrun a Rek'Sai. They are going to have Baron. They're making this push. This might be the final push of this game. Unless OVS can dig deep and find it. Like you said, they need to be able to just either throw themselves at it or just accept that it's over. But Alcove Refugee on the side there. I think he was spotted out by Limster, so should know where he is. Now he has come out of it. He's looking to the ultimate. He's going to get ulted up by Limster, though. Trying to run away. Trying to kill the Mordecai. So he will, but Born Twice will shut him down. And now it's a 4v4. The big tank is gone, but so is that scary AD carry. This could be Born Twice's moment. Can he find it? Can he dig deep and get that damage out? Can OVS hold the line here? Matsat taking a big chunk right there. 50 cal taco going forward, looking for Born Twice. Silly Boy Joe now in the looking for the back, trying to get all the way back. There's going to get stunned up. The Nami bubble coming through. The turrets have all fallen. And Kusho over here trying to deal with Freedom Potatoes. Born Twice doesn't know where to go, doesn't know who to fight. Looking for Kusho. Freedom Potatoes will fall. Born Twice is having to flash away, trying to get He's going to get bubbled up, and Silly Boy Joe's going to pick him off. Kusho will fall, but now Matsat is on the run. Skarloey is on the run, and the Nexus will fall. AFK will take game number 1.
And AFK, a beautiful comeback coming in clutch. I mean, those early game plays were not something that you would expect to see from the number 1 seed, right? I mean, Alcove Refugee was definitely having a lot of struggles in that very early parts of the game, but I mean, sometimes you look at it and it's like, it's an investment banking strategy. If we just give one player all the kills and all that gold for that shutdown, we can cash in on it later. And that's exactly what AFK managed to do in the end. AFK versus Oversoul going to be going over to AFK in game number 1, but don't go anywhere, because if that comeback happens again, I'm gonna lose my mind. So I gotta watch through game number 2, so don't miss that one.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Vanquisher League. We just watched AFK make a pretty good comeback and dominating finish to their first game against OVS, despite some early game stumbles. See if they're going to bounce back in game number 2. I'm Raptera, joined once again by Anti, and you know, that was a game. That was definitely a game. It was wild. It was crazy, and it was back and forth.
Yeah, that was a crazy back and forth game. I mean, the very beginning, if you just close your eyes 10 minutes in, you're just like, oh yeah, Oversoul got this, right? They win this completely free, right? This is a second seed coming in with this much of a lead. There's no way that that AFK has any way to make a comeback from this one. And AFK find that one big fight in that top lane where Oversoul just steps forward a little bit too much for a little bit too long. And all of a sudden, Alcove Refugee comes on in with the Twitch, picks up 2 kills, the third one going over to Kusho. And that was all she wrote. That's what the snowball that was needed to get all the way back into the game for AFK. But now that we're going into game number 2, I do have to wonder, what are we going to see in the changes in the draft, as the Aurora was immediately picked up by AFK the last time around. And if anyone knows what could be going on in the draft, ProComps definitely would know.
Yeah, ProComps GG, our wonderful sponsor for the league. Again, thank you all so much for sponsoring us. For those of you who don't know, ProComps GG is the ultimate tool for developing your draft strategy. It gives you recommendations on what to pick and ban based on what's going on in the game. It lets you build tier lists for your team and yourself. It lets you even get recommendations for how to play matchups once you're already through the pick and ban. So big shout out to them. Give them a shout out at procomps.gg. And with that, we're going to see if they've taken advantage of it as we get underway into the draft. The Lilia, once again, banned out by OVS. They really don't want to deal with that. I feel like I need to see an Aurora ban. That was very strong for AFK, and I think it was a big factor in how they won that game.
I mean, honestly, a big point of the Aurora ban wasn't necessarily that the Aurora was a huge part of, you know, just the overall laning and stuff like that. It's more of the moment that the laning phase was over, Aurora just got free realm to just do whatever it is that she wanted, and no matter what, Jinx was not able to auto attack because you can't just walk straight into that Aurora ulti. You don't want to be dealing with that, and there it is. There is the Aurora ban, unless someone just goes ahead and be's all silly with it. It's like, oh yeah, no, that's totally a team up ban. We're just gonna take Aurora anyway. No, but either way, so the Aurora is taken off the table here from Oversoul. That does leave a few more of the 80 carries available, but I mean, it's blue side, so either way, Ashe, Jinx is probably going to be the one picked up here. Misfortune also available. We might also see those classic counter picks like the Twitch Nami that we saw earlier, but here we go. We got the Nami. We might see the second point of that. I would not be too surprised to see the Twitch. Lucian could also be an opportunity here, but at the very least, we do have Freedom Potatoes Ziggs, and okay, I like this. I like this a lot. The brand pickup here does open things up in the bot lane. It could be the 80 carry brand. It could also be that brand jungle. Very likely going to be that brand jungle, because we've been seeing so much of that magic damage jungle and physical damage mid lane.
Yeah, and that's going to be a Lucian Milio bot lane. Okay, so the aggressive bot, I haven't seen this one in a little bit, but it is very good at being a lane bully, which, you know, they were winning as lane bullies last time. Maybe they just want to stomp it harder. They really want to make sure that that all coverage is just not getting anything this game, as the Jin Zhao will come through too. So split a bit across this. That is going to be mid-brand, I'm assuming then, unless that is top Jin Zhao. That would be weird. I haven't seen that in years. So,
I mean, it could also still be the 80 carry brand, right? That is still a possibility here. So,
that's true. That's true, yeah.
Yeah, you still got to be a little bit concerned back and forth, but right now, the biggest question is what are we going to be seeing from Oversoul in the jungle, right? Because, I mean, we still do have a few things available, like there's the Volibear, there is the Trundle, you know, things specifically designed to really duel things out with the Xin Zhao. But right now, I'm really not sure what we're going to be seeing here. Likely going to be the top lane pick, so we still keep things relatively nebulous. And Akali still could be a top lane, but that is very likely going to be in that mid lane.
Okay, it's gonna be the Mumu. Okay, I had an idea for what I wanted, but I think that I'm so excited to see a Mumu. So good pick, really easy to lock everyone down, really easy to set up engages, has great gank potential early on. Ooh, the set, the anti-special coming through.
I mean, Set's definitely a fun champion here, and right now, I actually don't dislike this because it means that if AFK don't pick up a tank, you're not going to have a tank for your team, and at the very least, you're going to have a lot of trouble when it comes to straight up dueling with this set, right? I mean, this champion's all about dueling, all about disrupting team fights. So if 50 Cal Taco decides to go on in, Limster says, no, you're not. You're just gonna go straight back into the middle of the enemy team, and a lot of that burst damage does get mitigated by that Haymaker. But this also does mean it is the brand Nami bot lane, and I gotta say, I am a huge fan of this double AP bot lane. It works out very, very well together, and it means that it's gonna be a lot of priority in that bot lane, but Lucian Milio is nothing to scoff at. So the big question going into game number 2 is who is going to win this 2v2? Last time we did see a lot of focus towards these champions forcing a 2v2 bot lane, but this time it's champions that are 2v2ers from the get-go.
Yeah, and that could be really the deciding factor, especially that the lead that Born Twice got, and Limster going to be starting the E. Okay, Silly Boy Joe trying to run him down. But Matt Stat's behind. He doesn't know that they're there. Oh no, he's going to get caught up, but it's going to be the E, so Silly Boy Joe going to have to take his own little grappling hook there, and I think that's going to definitely set him back in the lane. Not really what you want to start with.
Yeah, I mean, E-start isn't necessarily the worst thing on Camille. It does mean that, you know, you do have the availability to go for some quick early trades, but into set, it's not necessarily something you want. I will note that the W start from Matt Set does tell me that Matt Set is going to be starting up on a buff. It's likely going to be the blue buff. We're not going to be seeing any E-start Amumu shenanigans onto the Raptors or onto the Wolves, but it is going to be that W start, no leash onto the Wolves here. That is the Wolves.
Oh, whoops, sorry. Whoops. I mixed them up. I don't know how I did that, but it is the Wolves.
It's okay. This is the classic caster ability to turn a mistake I made into a mistake that you made. Checkmate, my friend. Either way.
The classic anti-scenario.
Either way, so now that we get into the swing of things, it is going to be these 2v2 lanes in the bot lane where we're going to be seeing most of the damage come on through. I mean, Lucian Milio, nothing that you want to be sleeping on, especially with the extra damage that Milio now has on the Ultra Mega Fire Kick. Such a fun ability name, I gotta say.
It is. I love Ultra Mega Fire Kick. It is so fun. And, you know, the thing we got to talk about, last game, like, Alcove Refugee just basically fed. Basically was just feeding the early game. And, you know, at least you're on Twitch. There's a recoverability. You know, you get that one good fight. It's a lot harder to do on Brand. Brand needs items to really come online. And, you know, you don't have as much of the lane pressure. Oh, hang on. We see 50 Cal Taco showing up down here. He has been spotted. They're on the run. Gonna try to stab him, but is gonna miss. Skarloey on the run. Gonna have to flash, and 50 Cal Taco, hoping to get that knockup, is not gonna find it. So they do burn a flash for it, but now they know where he is, and they're already pushing back. They're already pressuring them as they try to retreat here.
Yeah, I mean, they do know where the Xin Zhao is, but at the very least, that doesn't really mean so much for 50 Cal Taco, right? Because Amumu as a champion doesn't really do much in terms of the early fighting, right? I mean, it's not like Amumu's gonna see that and be like, oh, well, I can go fight him on his red buff and I'm gonna kill him. No, like the Amumu is just gonna take that and be like, all right, that means I am safe. I am fine. I'm going to be doing okay here. Meanwhile, Alcove Refugee and Pak 808 are just going to continue to try to farm out this bot lane, while Brand definitely does benefit a lot from that gold, right? From that experience. This is a relatively low, low priority champion in terms of the gold. Oh my god.
Yeah, they land the stun, and Alcove is going to be forced to flash. Almost dies there in the back end. They also burn the heal and the barrier. So that was a summoner spell diff right there. Kusho looking for free of potatoes. And yeah, that's a side that might come back around. This Amumu is kind of just chilling around here. Might look for another opportunity. He's faking his little back. Limpster going to pull Silly Boy Joe under the turret. Get the Falcon punch right on through. And yeah, it's just getting very casual. Actually, it's good that Silly Boy Joe didn't land that stun there. That might have been really bad if he had.
Yeah, but in the meantime, this bot lane still going in the way of Born Twice and Skarloey. Now, as we were mentioning before, we got so rudely interrupted by Matt Stat's Amumu gank. Brand, as a champion, doesn't necessarily need so much gold in comparison to a lot of these other carries, right? Lucian's not going to be online nearly as quickly as the Brand. There's a reason why Brand support is a thing, because you really only need the Rylai's to be useful, right? So once you get into the swing things, it could be dangerous. Meanwhile, top lane, few dangerous trades here and there, but Silly Boy Joe not going to be getting tagged by that true damage just yet, so Matt's just got to be a little bit careful.
Matstat has been found here. 50 cal looking for him. Now they're going on in, and it's going to be first blood. Silly Boy Joe from around the corner comes to help out his jungler, and the invasion pays off. AFK getting an early lead.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about earlier, Raptor, where it doesn't really matter as much for a jungler like Amumu to know where the enemy jungler is for anything other than survival. And right now,
Limpster with a big pull in. That turret shot that landed maybe have had an opportunity, but AFK gonna walk out.
Meanwhile, mid lane, oh my god.
Kusho with just diving the turret. Okay, they're just jumping from play to play to fight to fight. There is no rest for OVS this game. AFK does not like to live up to their name.
Yeah, I mean, AFK's entire strategy is to try to make Oversoul's members go AFK here. Matstat gonna come on in. Kusho might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna
bandage toss. There we go.
Yep. Okay, so OVS is on the board. Matstat managing to pick up that kill. That's good. That's good for OVS, but can they make anything out of it? It looks like they're gonna go for these grubs with no mid laner. They know that their Ziggs has the priority. They can get on over here. They did see the teleport burned earlier. So, grubs this time, gonna prioritize to OVS. They've tied their grub score from last game. Can they break it? And it looks like it will be a broken grub score. 3 grubs for OVS.
Speaking of broken, the grubs. Broken as hell for a team like this, right? I mean, when you have any extra tower damage on a team with Ziggs, you are very much going to be welcoming that one. Meanwhile, I will say not so much priority in the bot lane, meaning that we're likely not necessarily going to be seeing the dragon trade just yet. Meanwhile, Matstat and 50 Cal Taco are going toe to toe.
Yeah, they're just kind of passing at each other. They've spotted each other. They handshake. Now they're both making the run down to bottom lane. Well, at least Matstat is. 50 Cal Taco has been baited back by the attack on the ward. He's like, how dare you? You touch my ward. That's it. Don't you ever talk to me or my ward or his father ever again. Anyway, Born Twice getting a huge chunk onto Alcove Refugee. 2 of those, and he could easily pick up those kills. But we're looking at this right now. The game is basically tied. OVS is playing this very safely now after that early unfortunate situation in the jungle, and the only place that's really showing the aggression, actually they're getting cheeky. I will say that they're getting cheeky. They're holding Matstat down here. The Amumu hasn't been spotted. They don't know he's here. He's just gonna hang out, and Kusho just picks up freedom potatoes in the mid lane again. Just every time we look away from this Akali, it's just like, you know what? It's time to kill. Well, they're not watching. I can go all out. Now, Matstat trying to go all out, but has been caught by 50 cal. Taco goes on in, gets a huge ultimate right there, and is trying to now just walk on out. Alcove Refugee looking to maybe stay around. Born Twice is looking for opportunities to pick up a pick here. Is going to try to get Alcove. Can he pick him up? He is not going to be able to, and everyone just kind of very woundedly walks away, except Skarloey. Skarloey, you're beautiful as always at full health.
I will say, Born Twice not opting to flash there, just going to make sure to hold on to that defensive summoner, but Matt's in a lot of trouble here, getting caught.
Oh no. Matstat getting caught out, but he's gonna get the bandage toss to get the stun. Now he's on the run with Born Twice and Skarloey. Freedom Potatoes is here. Everyone's kind of grouped up. This is not where you want to be against the Ziggs, and the ult does go flying out. Kind of little bit of trouble right there, little frame rate, but oh, Born Twice looking for Alcove. He flashes forward, and he's gonna pick up the kill. Sigma more like a beta. Alcove Refugee falls.
Yeah, an Alcove Refugee just stepping up a little bit too far. I mean, Born Twice showing off that the man does have that killer instinct necessary this time around, being willing to throw out that flash, making sure that there's no chances of the return kill here. Meanwhile, Limster and Silly Boy Joe just going to continue to duke it out in this top lane, staying relatively even in the CS department. Meanwhile, you know, Camille can only really do so much under tower against Set. Like, this is a pretty dang difficult champion to dive.
Yeah, you might say it's the perfect setting for him.
You might as well say that. But either way, Oversoul right now, not in a bad position in the slightest. They've got the grubs, they've got the extra gold, you know, just a little bit extra gold under their belt here. But right now, you know, gotta wonder in terms of the I do believe that we should get a reset on the producer's side, but there we go. All right, we had a little bit of a laggy image for a bit, but now we are back.
Yeah, we are back. A dinosaur story. Speaking of, we're back. 50 cal Taco's back in the top lane, looking to maybe get Limster, but he ults out. Silly Boy Joe's gonna go ult too, but here comes Matstat, a huge ultimate. Limster's gonna pick up that Taco, make it a side of nothing, because Silly Boy Joe's gonna keep running for the hills, and OVS turns the gank around. The counter gank is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, Trundle might be the counter gank king, but Amumu does just fine as well. Bandage toss from Matstat came in at just the right time, especially with that ultimate, making sure that Limster was guaranteed to land that Haymaker, and boy, oh boy, does Haymaker do a lot of damage. In the meantime, Grub's gonna get picked up once again, and as we've seen before, Grubs do so much work for the Ziggs here, but one more in from 50 cal Taco. Man is not happy.
He is not. He's looking for Matstat. Limster is here, though. Here comes Kusho looking for it. Matstat trying to just get something out there. Limster's going to pick that up. They're going to trade junglers. Now Kusho on the run. Got to get away from two of them. Is going to try to get this grub, but it's going to run back for the hills. This thing runs kind of silly. I've never noticed that, but when it's sped up.
Yeah, Grubby is going to get another chance to live today. Meanwhile, bot lane might need another chance to live. Alcove Refugee hasn't necessarily had the same kind of rough game that we saw from the last game, but is definitely not a game where he's thriving nonetheless. Hawk 808 just going to continue to try to keep him topped off, but there's only so much a fish can do.
Yeah, fish can only do so much. This isn't the Little Mermaid, man. They can't just sing themselves through a happy ending. They've got to be able to keep their AP carry, I almost said AD carry, but AP carry alive. And here in the bot lane. And overall, this game, I think it's still going very well as an early game for OVS. A little bit of a hiccup there, but they managed to right it. And now they're starting to stack these dragons. It's going to be a Chem Dragon for the first one this game, followed up by an Ocean. So could be, you know, the potential for everyone's favorite soul. That's right, Hextech soul.
Since when did people enjoy Hextech? I hate Hextech.
I love Hextech. What are you like, not a static Shiv enjoyer? This is not a
well-
Static Shift hate stream.
No. I love Static Shift. I love that you have to pay for it.
I like not paying for it. Free is the best price.
Oh my god, wait, hold on. Freedom Potatoes
Yeah,
in a lot of trouble here. That
yeah.
W is crazy.
Oh, but it does miss the dagger to follow up. And Freedom Potatoes will manage to walk on out of there. Matstat is here. He did see 50 Cal Taco kind of hanging around. 50 Cal Taco asserting his dominance, just walking forward there. Showing he's like, hey, I'm here. Get away from me. Go away.
Now, I will say, the back from Kusho here needs to be an immediate teleport because that tower is getting closer and closer to death. Freedom Potatoes knows it as well. Just going to hold on to that satchel charge.
Kusho's gonna
look
try to
stay
dive.
alive. Oh,
yeah, gets the E, but gets knocked up. Kusho gonna pick up the kill and go on a killing spree. Just so many one-on-ones, just winning like crazy with this Akali.
yeah, an unfortunate satchel charge from Freedom Potatoes.
Oh, no.
You know, gonna launch him directly in, and Matstat caught behind enemy lines.
Yeah, now he's getting bubbled up, getting speared, getting just stunned, and the kitchen sink thrown at him is gonna throw the Sad Mummy Curse, but it will not be enough. 50 Cal Taco gonna pick up that one. 2 clean kills over to the side of AFK.
Yeah, and not only that, 2 clean kills over to the side of an Akali with a Dark Seal. 5 stacks on the Dark Seal is not what you want to be seeing if you're Oversoul, but you absolutely love to see it as an AFK member.
Yeah, you love to see it. The 4-1 Akali. That's what you see when you see that in a solo queue game. You kind of silently cry and just go, okay, well, it's GG. This is gonna hurt. But Freedom Potatoes at least gets the turret, so he's managed to keep this pretty even because he's got the gold advantage, because he's been able to take the turret and prevent any plates from falling. So I think even overall in gold-wise, it's pretty close to even. I'd have to do a quick gold check if we can get that producer, see where they're at. But the rest of the team is having a little trouble. Okay, so yeah, actually ahead in gold. Okay, so despite dying despite 3 deaths, OVS's mid laner is still in the lead. So there is
bot.
that. Oh yeah, bot lane. Something might happen down there. But yeah, it was just they're not gonna dive quite yet. They're not quite in position. But now with these minions pushing into the turret, this could be the opportunity for them to dive in onto the brand. Nope, the minion line gets cleared. Oh, and but a teleport from behind. Here comes Silly Boy Joe. They gotta run, but Born Twice is gonna get locked on up. They're gonna try to heal him up, try to get over there to Alcove Refugee, but it will not be enough. Skarloey is gonna be the next to leave this world. Getting stunned, getting blasted. Double kill though. Going in the mid lane as Kusho picks up 1, but Freedom Potatoes will shut him down. Silly Boy Joe gonna pick up Skarloey on the bottom side. Fight from coast to coast. It's gonna be a 1-for-4 trade.
Yeah, and AFK gonna come out on top of all these fights. I mean, Limster was in the right place at the right time, but unfortunately not gonna be able to get anything in return. Beautiful Aqua Present from Pock808, gonna be able to just make sure that the set doesn't get to walk forward through that bubble, doesn't get to get anything just returned for the team here, as Limster's just gonna sulk back to the top lane, try to get a little bit of damage off on this tower here, but Born Twice and Skarloey definitely not gonna be feeling good about that bot lane play.
Yeah, they might not. Limster might not feel good after this. Kusho and 50 Cal Taco are here looking for him. He's going to hit the end with the tip of the spear and charge on forward. Limster, though, going to ult to throw him back, taking turret shots just to add up to his haymaker, and he's going to pick up 1, but he will fall. It will be a shutdown onto him, and now Alcove Refugee just getting blasted by Born Twice, but will manage to get away. Pock808. It's a powerful fish. This is the second game now on this fish, and it's been pretty fishy with how good it's playing. Oh, Matstat with a huge landing of the ultimate right there in the bandage shots. Born Twice going to pick up Alcove Refugee, looking for Pock808, but trying to stay a little out of turret range first. But here comes Silly Boy Joe. They see him there. He's looking for the stun, but he's going to miss. It gets sent airborne. The kick lands, and the ults will fly. Pock808 almost dead. The turret will fall on the top side, though, in exchange. And AFK, I don't think they're going to be able to hold this hard. I think they should really reconsider staying around here. Like,
Yeah,
they're hovering.
yeah, they absolutely will not be able to hold this. Freedom Potatoes does not have the satchel charge just yet.
On the Skarloey, Silly Boy Joe managing to stop the aggression, giving time 50 cal taco. That turret on a knife's like just a sliver of health. Whoa, these teams are just they're bloody, they're bloodthirsty, but they're not really able to find anything.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, right, Freedom Potatoes not able to execute the tower there was honestly a huge boon for AFK. I mean, a little bit rough on the satchel charges from Freedom Potatoes lately. I'd honestly say uncharacteristic from the player. We saw the Ziggs just kind of throw out the satchel charge backwards, you know, just a little bit strangely right before they were looking to take that tower, but that one mistake means that the tower stays alive. They don't get the gold lead back, and AFK gonna be able to pick up that dragon in return.
So they will get that. Meanwhile, the OVS will grab the Herald for themselves and hold on. Silly Boy Joe now getting blasted by Born twice. This is a scary Lucian. He is 160 CS. He has 2 kills. And now Skarloey getting engaged on by 50 cal taco. Silly Boy Joe looking for maybe an opportunity. The spear tip will not land this time for 50 cal taco. And the bot lane of OVS, gotta be a little careful. The fish is coming down. She smells blood in the water. This is more of a piranha than a koi fish.
Yeah, meanwhile in the top lane, Kusho and Limster still kind of going toe-to-toe, but a stiff breeze could make that tower fall. So the colleague going to be backing off, going to try to hold on to all of his Magi's stacks there. Well, not quite Magi's just yet, still looking at the Dark Seal, but 6 stacks is nothing to scoff at. And here we go, 2 more towers taken down for Oversoul. That standing gold immediately going to get picked up here. Skarloey and Born twice now going to look to back, spend a little bit of that gold here, just looking for that Infinity Edge. Skarloey?
All right,
playing it safe.
little playing on the edge there, but it's gonna back up. Limster coming down to back up his little support. He pats him on the head. He's like, you know, I got this. Don't worry. Now, Silly Boy Joe gonna take the turret, but Limster gonna stun him up. And the duel of the top laners has begun, but Matstat is here. Silly Boy Joe uses his only form of escape and is gonna get bandage tossed up. Gonna try to ult to get out of this. The teleports are coming through. Another bandage toss, but it's gonna be right in to the suplex coming out of Limster. The haymaker gonna come through, but not gonna find much. Kusho though gonna come through, pick up 1 kill, but Freedom Potatoes will manage to turn it back around. Matstat and Freedom Potatoes now on the run, trying to run both directions. Matstat though gonna fall, gonna get stunned, gonna get knocked out by Silly Boy Joe, and 50 cal taco is gonna grab that Ziggs. 3 for 1 again in favor of AFK. And that might be the call. No, I don't think without Kusho they can do the Baron, but that's still gonna be
absolutely not. But you know, that was a huge fight for AFK. Going to be able to get 3 for 1, but you know, Akali going down, at the very least you're going to be able to get a shutdown there, something that AFK doesn't want. But right now you're going to see a little bit of lone time with the tower. Alcove and Puck just gonna try to take this one down slowly but steadily. None of that extra damage coming in from the grubs, and none of the extra damage to the auto attacks as the AP carrier. I mean, Brand doesn't exactly do so much in terms of tower damage, but it's all about that laning. But now that the laning phase is over, the team fighting is going to go crazy, as Born twice and Skarloey might have been able to pick up a decent gold lead for themselves, but Brand is such a monster in these team fights. You cannot be sleeping on this champion in the slightest.
Yeah, he's just such a monster. And like, who do you focus? Do you focus the Brand and try to shut him down with Kusho, 8 and 3, just wandering around trying to burn him up? And Born twice and Skarloey have been found by him. Speak of the devil, Born to Ice is gonna flash to get out of there. Drops the berry. Skarloey on the run, but 50 cal taco gonna pick him up. Kusho gonna have to back out, getting so low now. 50 cal taco on the run. Alcove Refugee with a big ultimate. It's bouncing, it's trouncing, but Born twice will pick up him up in the side. 50 cal taco gonna grab him in exchange though, and Freedom Potatoes and Matstat will fall. An ace for AFK. I didn't even see, I think Limster just solo died in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, Silly Boy Joe gonna be able to pick up that kill on the side lane. The side laning win condition for AFK with a 4-1 team composition is alive here. And now, even without Alcove Refugee, they do have the Baron DPS to take this one. But right now, Oversoul in a really tough position here, right? You just need to find some way, somehow, get a way on in. But Silly Boy Joe, oh my god, going on a rampage in the base of Oversoul.
Yeah, you know, Milio might have that damage boost on his little fire kickball, but yeah, I wouldn't challenge a 4-0 and 4 Camille, buddy.
Well, I mean, she wasn't 4-0 and 4 when the challenge started.
You're right, she was 3-0 and 4.
Yeah, but either way, Silly Boy Joe just running a clinic with this Camille, doing so much work in the side lanes. Dragon now available, and you can see AFK looking to death bush any poor sap that tries to come on in.
I think they're just going to try to flank Limster here. He is on the run, trying to run away from Kusho, getting burned up, going to try to drop the Haymaker, stay alive, going to drop the ultimate. Kusho goes, Golden Limster on the run with the fire. Skarloey is here with the heals, and Limster will manage to get out. He actually did a massive amount of damage to Kusho, but the Herald was dropped mid, and with everyone on the bottom side for the side of AFK, this could be the opportunity. They're going to try to get that double charge, and actually they're going to use the Herald for the escape, but that's not where you want to go. Born to Ice, no! He's on the run, he's still running. The Herald is like a quarterback, like a running back trying to get that touchdown, and he will manage to get out, but now 50 cal Taco continuing the gauge, flashing forward, looking for him. The ult coming out of Skarloey to hold on, keep the air.
Huge ulti.
Yeah, huge ulti. Refugee getting pretty low, as is Taco. But they've got Pak 808 here, and now they're making the beeline for this dragon. It is Hex ult. I predicted right. I feel happy about that. But they've got a long ways to go till they're at the soul. This will be their second dragon of the game. And they've got 2 more until they're going to get to the soul. But I'm going to prevent OVS from getting that could be a good win condition if they were able to. And now Silly Boy Joe and Freedom Potatoes is going to kind of go at it. But man, 50 cal Taco and Silly Boy Joe and Kusha, like the top half of AFK is just, they're winning 1v1s all over the place.
I mean, and that's where you want all of this gold to be focused, right? Brand Nami does fine in terms of laning, but it's where the team fights come on in that you really see the brand see a lot of value even without that much gold, right? You got 2 items on this brand, and I would still not be surprised to see Alcove Refugee have a respectable amount of damage once we get later into the game. Meanwhile, Matt Stat is going to continue to try to pick up as many items as possible, pick up as much gold as possible, as Born Twice and Skarloey have quite a bit of the gold from the team overall. But the question is, how much can you make use of it on a low-range AD carry like the Lucian? Yes, you do have the W from the Milio to get the extra auto attack range, but in the meantime, you got players like Kusho just fighting up a storm in the side lane. Limster in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
has popped the ultimate.
Yeah, he has popped it, but Kusho will manage to pick that up. I think every time we've looked at Kusho ends up dying, but when we're not watching, he manages to always get a clean kill. So I see the bias. Save the bias production. Gotta keep getting Kusho those kills. But Silly Boy Joe is gonna take up the top side turret on a more serious note, and more seriously for OVS, they're running out of places to kind of make a stand at. They're gonna slowly lose out this game if they keep getting drawn out and taken in these 1v1s. They've got to find up. They got to really bunch up here, I think, and look for a death ball. They have the Amumu. They can hit a really good 5-man ultimate, 4-man ultimate. They could turn this fight around, but it's gonna come down to these fights, I feel, and they're just not finding it, Anti.
Yeah, I mean, it's just rough to see, right? I mean, Oversoul right now need an opportunity, but it's always AFK pulling the trigger.
Yeah, and Refugee almost got annihilated by the culling there from Born to Ice. And now they're gonna have to just back off. 50 cal have been looking for an opportunity, but they're just trying space. They're just trying to draw everyone to the mid so Kusho can get a push. But that stat is on the run, looking for the Akali. Will he find it? He's not. He's gonna miss both Banditashes, and Kusho just drops the emote. And now Limster getting some sucker punches in with that haymaker, do a little bit of trading there, but without the haymaker, it's a little difficult. Freedom Potato's gonna drop the ult mids, 50 cal Taco, also trying to help break this. The last outer turret has fallen, and now OVS's squad is trying to run on in, but 50 cal goes in on the mat stat, gonna get him off of there. 50 cal still looking, he hits Skarloey, he might dash that wall. Is he that aggressive? The inhibitor turret has fallen. Now Limster gets the haymaker, gets hit with the ultimate, try to get unstoppable, but Silly Boy Joe will be silly dead right now. A shutdown for Born twice, and he's going forward. A little aggressive there, but now 50 cal Taco looking for it too, and the fight will continue. Born twice is going to get dived in on, but the huge ultimate from Milio to save the AD carry. Can he buy the space though? Meanwhile, Limster trying to buy space against the rest of them. 50 cal goes unstoppable with a bang. Gonna get shut down by Freedom Potatoes, but Limster will fall. Refugee gonna pick up that kill. Can they get the siege on this base? There is a Ziggs here. It is hard to really siege into a Ziggs, but Kusho manages to land one of those shuriken. It could be a free turret for them. Freedom Potatoes gotta be careful in positioning. Matsat really needs to stay on that bottom side to block, but everyone's just gonna back off, and the fight stops.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it is going to be the 2 for 2, but at the very least for Oversoul, that 2 for 2 pays off dividends. It's going to be 2 huge shutdowns over to some very important carries. 1,000 gold shutdown over to Born twice here means that the Lucian gets to do even more damage. I do believe that's, what, almost 80%? What, 90% on the crit chance? But, like, look at where all the gold is focused, right? The Ziggs is even essentially in gold with Kusho, but that top lane, 4,000 extra gold from Silly Boy Joe as they start up the Baron, and there is no chance for Oversoul to contest this in the slightest. You just cannot deal with AFK being able to slap you around with that wallet. 8,000 gold lead coming in from AFK here. This is their game to lose.
Yeah, and they're gonna try to push the issue a little bit more, heading on down to the Hextech Dragon. Matsat managed to land onto 50 cal though. The ult is not coming out yet. The culling will come through on the side. Limster with a huge punch. Matsat gonna pick up Pock 808, and that's no support. Kusho going into the backline, looks for Freedom Potatoes, goes on a killing spree. Meanwhile, 50 cal Taco trying to get onto a Born twice, but he will fall, and now the OVS team may have found the fight they were looking for. They're hunting it down. Limster gonna pick up Alcove Refugee. OVS, they may be down with the wallet, but who needs a wallet when you got a haymaker? And they're gonna push this down. They're gonna try to take this turret. Silly Boy Joe is looking
Ziggs moment
here. Oh, he's gonna find it. It is a Ziggs moment. Freedom Potatoes is gonna fall. Skarloey trying to stay alive, but it's a double kill to Silly Boy Joe. Born twice, gonna give it to him as a triple, and the fall of Limster signifies a horrible turn of fortunes for OVS as AFK walks away with the ace.
Yeah, no teleport coming in from Kusho just yet, so they're not quite going to be going for that bot wave immediately. But Matsat, the only one standing in the way of this team ending it all. I doubt that we're going to be seeing too much of a push from AFK to really get it all the way in. You know, this bot lane wave still available. They're just going to take the top inhib in response here, as the dragon will also be going down. Triple inhib for AFK is nothing to scoff at here, and they're once again just going to take the 100% plays instead of going for the 90% ones.
Yeah, they're gonna take this dragon, put themselves on soul point for the Hex Soul. You thought this team was scary. If this game doesn't end and they manage to get that soul, it's gonna be even more terrifying. Camille slowing you with every auto, Jin slowing you with every auto, well, almost every auto, just depending on how fast they're stacking their stacks. But like, it's gonna hurt so much. OVS, they've showed they can still fight despite being down. They get the right catch, the right situation, the right angle. They can win the fight. They gotta be careful with what they do after. If they push too far, can all go bad. And now Born Twice has been found out by 50 Cal Taco. He's trying to get away, but he's gonna fall. The fish slaps him with the tail, and Kusha goes on Supple side, grabbing Skarloey. Matstat has also been caught. He's gonna fall. Silly Boy Joe goes on a rampage, and 2v5 OVS must hold the line here. Freedom Potatoes and Limster, it's them against the world. Can they hold it? The Ziggs is chucking the bombs, but Silly Boy Joe is jukes him out there. Limster trying to drop a haymaker, but it's gonna be Silly Boy Joe dropping the backhand onto Freedom Potatoes, onto OVS. It's an ace for AFK. It's the end of the game, and a 2-0 going to go over to AFK as they lock in first place in the regular season.
And beautiful stuff to AFK. Calm, cool, and collected, regardless of where the gold leads lie. It is going to be AFK taking it in the end in their very clear, calm play, right? I mean, it was all about Kusho. It was all about Silly Boy Joe. It was about these solo lanes, top half of the map, really getting underway with all of that gold and just snowballing that one into a win. Beautiful stuff from AFK, going to be able to take it all in the end, securing that top 1 spot here. And that was a great set to watch. Thanks for joining me, Raptor, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure to give Pro Comps a little bit of love, and make sure to watch the rest of our broadcasts throughout the week. Thanks everyone for watching. Y'all take care.